Hey, this is Brian Parker with another exciting video. This one, as I said on my community membership site, is going to be about, we're going to use this week as deposition week, and I'm going to revisit a couple of oldies but goodies that technologically were kind of bad, but the information was awesome, so I updated the information. So this is how to protect a client at a deposition. But also, if you're not in a deposition or you're not protecting a client, it's how to protect yourself in life from infuriating and harassing, obnoxious questions. So if you come under examination, whether it's in a deposition or in life, I got a couple of tips for you which work in depositions and in life. So what's a deposition? It's just a means of the other side pulling your client in who's either sued them or is defending against their lawsuit as a means to, quote unquote, find out your story. However, it's really just a way to harass you and force you into either making admissions you don't want to make that hurt the case, either against them or in defending against them, or just to scare you and cause you to question whether you should go forward with a case, but rarely is it a search for the truth. That's my opinion. So how do we combat either obnoxious people in our life with their questions or obnoxious attorneys that are pulling us in for no reason other than to be obnoxious? You're pretty much at their will. By way of example, under the federal rules, which you will rarely be part of unless you're doing an FDCPA lawsuit, but I want to make a point. You are required to sit there for 7 hours if it's reasonable for them to keep you and they have enough questions. So that causes great anxiety. Sitting in a foreign venue or a situation, who wants to be harassed and asked questions by a seasoned veteran attorney who knows how to push and prod and go after you and cause you real problems? That's a real anxiety creator for clients of mine. So I developed over the years a really cool technique, and I say it is valuable in life because you'll see. It is called the Rule of 5. It's significant that I hold up my hand, but the Rule of 5 shortens depositions, relieves the stress of yourself or your clients, or it stops the questioning of somebody that you see in advice columnists all the time saying, oh, I'm going to be asked this question, what do I do? Use the Rule of 5. It controls the other side's nosiness, inquisitive curiosity, which is they have no business in asking some of the questions they do. So I'll put up on the screen what exactly the goal of the Rule of 5 is, Shazam. And now I'm going to have you remember a number of definitions. So the first, I'll put all 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 sort of definitions up there. Shazam. So DEP. A DEP is really just a deposition. You refer to a deposition as a DEP. Some people call them depos. I don't know why, but they're just DEPs. A deponent is the person being deposed. That's either you or your client, or you under a deposition from your neighbor that wants to know how you can afford a brand new car every year. So you are, or someone being deposed is the deponent. A dep prep, which is the genesis, I love that word, and foundation of what I am doing today. It's preparation for a deposition by your attorney, getting you ready, or you as an attorney use the Rule of 5 for your clients. Dep bots. What's a dep bot? Sounds like something that's on the internet that gives you more views and subscribers. No. A dep bot is a non-human deponent that you must be, or you as an attorney or friend or whatever, want your client to be for about an hour and a half. Why do I say an hour and a half? Because the person giving the deposition, keep in mind this video is about how to handle a deposition. Taking a deposition where you're the guy taking and now you're going after the opponent is a different video, which I will do. So these can go for hours. Keep in mind, I'm going to give you skills that you can use for your deposition or in life that eventually don't work. What do I mean by that? Meaning you're not used to being deposed. So the skills I give you are twofold, to relieve the anxiety, but this is the most important part of this. If the attorney runs out of questions, he can't keep you there, right? So his purpose is to get to your story as opposed to maybe the truth. How do you protect it, the story, and get yourself out of there in an hour and a half? We'll find out. Let me think, how can we do that? How about the rule of 5? That's right, the rule of 5 will set you free, get rid of your anxiety, and eliminate nosy attorneys or neighbors asking about your new car. So I've done the math behind the rule of 5, meaning I've done hundreds of depositions. There will be people viewing this going, I don't agree with this at all, because another part of this is you never tell your story. What do you mean don't tell my story? I've been waiting months to tell my story. I've been litigated and lied about. Now I get to tell. Keep in mind, if you tell your story in a deposition, you will have suddenly witnesses appear at trial that go, nah, that's wrong, because you told them the story. You told them what they have to defend against. So the rule of 5 is a way to tell the truth, always tell the truth, but avoid telling your story. And I'm going to show you how to do that. You have to litigate every case like it's going to trial. Paramount. So you can't half it. So if you're litigating your case, and I've told you about the enormous importance about the counter affidavit, another part of this is you have to litigate like it's going to trial. Those cases where you just, whatever, and kind of half go to trial. Most cases where you're prepared, the other side sees this, they don't go to trial. So you want to assume you're going to trial and do the best job you can to settle a case so it doesn't. You're going to get one deposition against you, going after you. Don't have that be where the other side finds out your story. The first time the other side hears your story is the trial. That way these witnesses don't miraculously appear, and the attorney that's opposing you is not ready to go after you, okay? Because if he already knows your story, he knows how he's going to frame his questions to make you look bad in front of the judge or the jury. That's the way it is. I've done the math. I've tried hundreds of cases. I've tried even more depositions. Obviously more depositions than trials, because most cases, especially if you've done good with your client, won't go to trial. So the philosophy of the rule of 5, and there's a reason why I keep holding my hand out, is math. I have done the math. I've done tons of depositions, and telling your story is the last thing you want to do. If it's a PI case or auto accident case, I guess there's room to explain your story. Yes, I can no longer go like this. I can no longer wash my walls. Maybe that's a good way to have you tell your story. It's like a 5-hour deposition, by the way. And anybody that's been through a personal injury or accident case, deposition, you sat there for hours, and there's a reason behind that. They want to break you down. I eliminate that because the type of cases I do, I can get you out of there in about an hour. So remember this. Let's put it on the screen. There is only, Shazam! There's only one reason why an attorney is deposing your client: to kill your client's case, or not kill the client, but stop the client and just make them realize, I don't want to go in front of this guy again. So that's nervousness and anxiety causing, and people watch TV and see the guy Perry Macing it. I've only had one trial and a deposition where I was Perry Mason, where, oh yeah, what about this? And it was just incredible. I did that in my very first trial, but I digress. So what I'm going to tell you is what most attorneys won't agree with. You want your client to say as little as possible. I've done the math. Your client or your desire, if you're watching this and you're about to be deposed, this is useful. Your desire to tell your story is the last thing you should listen to. That's what you want to do because you've been facing months of lies and litigation. You go, I'm going to tell these guys, and it'll only hurt you. We are an accommodating species. So if, as I tell my clients, you're going down the road and you're lost and you pull over and ask someone, hey, where's the nearest McDonald's, for example? People are going to help you. They don't yell no when you ask because we're an accommodating species. Turn that off. Accommodating will only kill your case. Because you sit there and the attorney's asking you questions, you want to be accommodating. Gonna kill your case, man. So don't be accommodating. You want to be a depbot. And I'll explain that later. But short of killing the attorney, what do we do with the statement? And I'll put it up there again. Shazam. There is no other reason why a client is being deposed but to kill your client's case. So how do we kill the attorney? Not really, but there is a way to do this. Well, attorneys and human beings live on oxygen. So remember this. And I'll put this up, the following. Words are like oxygen to an opposing attorney. Shazam. That's all you want up there. Remember that. The more words that you give the attorney, the more oxygen he receives, he or she, and he gets to ask you another question. So if you remember that words are really oxygen, stop being accommodating. And I'm going to tell you how you stop being accommodating. Your goal at this point is to cut off and let's put that up there, cut off the oxygen and word supply to the attorney and kill his depth and source of questions. Here, after all this mumbling and jumbling, I'm going to tell you the rule of 5. You ready for the rule of 5? Are you? Hello? Here it comes. Here's the rule of 5. I'm going to put it up on the screen. You ready? Shazam. No or yes. Do not guess. 5 words or less. Repeat after me. No or yes. Do not guess. 5 words or less. Repetez-vous. No or yes. Do not guess. 5 words or less. One more time. No or yes. Do not guess. 5 words or less. What do I mean by that? Here we go. Here's the math. Again, 30 years of federal and statewide litigation, depositions, trials, because depositions are really mini trials. There's not as many questions asked and the evidence rules are a little stronger in trial, but really it's practice for trial. So the less words and the less time you're in front of the lawyer, the less chance the lawyer knows your story and can kill it at trial. So you're going to trial in these depositions. And remember that the conference room is, in the deposition, is the attorney's playground. He's there all the time in the sandbox. You visit once. So he's going to beat you, and so you've got to beat him. The math for me, in all my experience, is that your story's off limits. The trial should be the first time that the main part of your story is heard by the other side. You give them your story, you give them prep. You give them trial prep and a way to beat you. Even if it's a motion for summary judgment. If you say too much in a motion for summary judgment and you give admissions, your case is lost before it even gets to trial. So we have to remember, what's the one reason why the attorney is deposing you or your client? To kill your client's case. Let's put that up there. Shazam. Remember, there's only one reason why an attorney is deposing your client or you, is to kill your case. No other reason. I don't want to hear it for the truth or, and by the way, this goes down the road, but the minute they say to you, hey, look, I'm not here to trick you, Oh my God, they're there to trick you. Just keep thinking like that. So how do you say nothing, but also honor my number one rule, which is the truth? Always give the truth. Be a robot. How does a robot talk? No, yes, do not guess, I don't know, that does not compute. Sounds silly, right? Be a dep robot, a dep bot. You have to be non-human. Humans are accommodating species. That only hurts you. You try to help, replace it with another four-letter word called hurt. Help is a four-letter word in a deposition. Do not help this guy that's there only to kill your case. The reason I keep putting that on the screen is because he's not there to be your friend as he will try to be. He or she will try to be. So, the number one reason to use the rule of five is Shazam. Client empowerment and less anxiety. Anxiety trips you up. Emotions trip you up. Seasoned veteran attorneys know that, and they'll push and prod and get you upset. I do it. So once you adopt the rule of five, meaning you who's being deposed, you will be relaxed, basically anxiety-free, and empowered, because the attorney doesn't know what he's about to face. He thinks he's coming in to squash you because he's a seasoned veteran attorney and you're just a schmo. So this empowers everyone, you, your clients, even the attorneys, because he's feeling comfortable. He's not going to be there for 7 hours. If you follow the rule of five. Listen, knowledge is power. The rule of five is empowering. It empowers the client and you to control your environment. If you answer every question through the rule of five, the prism of the rule of five, no matter what the question, do not answer a question unless it's going through the rule of five. So, number one, you must tell the truth. So here's how I teach. I'm going to teach you right now the rule of five, okay? Here is how I explain the rule of five to my clients when preparing them on truthfully answering questions. And I'll just bolden the first number one. Number one, when asked a no or yes question, only say one or the other. Don't add on information, which is what all accommodating people do. Keep it simple, stupid. No or yes. Remember the thumb? No or yes. Why am I doing that? If I asked you, do you like the Detroit Lions' chances this year? They had a good season last year. This is 2024. Nobody says no or yes to that. They'll go, oh, yeah, are you kidding me? They've added blah, blah, blah. They've extended the contract to their best receiver. They give all this money to the quarterback. But I didn't ask you to answer that way. I asked you no or yes. So if I say no or yes to that question in a deposition, that's the only oxygen that the attorney gets. So remember, assign oxygen to words. If you cut off the oxygen, you cut off the attorney. If I say no or yes, that person now has to follow up. And you say, yeah, I love if you say yes, what's he doing with that? If you say, yeah, my mother, when she was alive, loved the Lions, and da-da-da, because that's what people do. They're accommodating. He gets to ask you about your mother. What was your relationship like? Did she pay this debt? Did you take her money? Blah, 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 blah. It just spins out of control. Done the math. No or yes, do not guess, 5 words or less. Number 2, let's put up the bold, Cindy. Boom, Shazam. When asked something you aren't sure about or don't remember and can only guess, your response is to try and figure it out and tell them, no, don't guess. If you don't say no, say I don't know. In one respect, if you guess and is not true, it is perjurious. It's a form of perjury. Now, you didn't intend to to say a false statement to get out of that question, but you're not saying the truth. So do not guess. No or yes, do not guess 5 words or less. By the way, there's a reason why it rhymes like that. Because you remember. You're starting to remember now. I know, because I train this stuff for a living. No or yes, and we're talking about do not guess. So I train my clients on the rule of 5, and they do not leave the room until they are ready to go. And I'll say something, you feel ready? And they'll say, well, you know, I think I do. I feel a lot better now that, so you give us the noise. There it is. They should have answered yes or no. So I haven't done the best job. When you answer your no or yes to every question, you are ready to be deposed. It drives the other side crazy. I've done it. I've seen attorneys just slam on the table and yell at me, what's wrong with your client? Why aren't they answering their questions? They are answering the questions. It was a no or yes question, and they answered no or yes, because they're expecting the oxygen of explanation. So, back to do not guess. It is better than the truth. You're not molding something so you don't have to answer something other than the truth. If you do not know, do not say anything other than I do not know and do not guess, because that is the truth. If I've had plenty of clients in the early days call me and go, you know, I took a chance and I told them what they wanted to hear. Turns out I remember now, I didn't do blah, blah, blah. Too late. It's going to be in Exhibit 1 to a motion to dismiss the case and kill the case. Because why? Because attorneys are there only to kill your case. They're looking for bad admissions, and they usually come in the form of accommodating people trying to guess because we want to help. Stop. Help should be replaced by a better 4-letter word, hurt. You are only hurting yourself if you try to help. A guess never works. Now, here's the cool point. No or yes, repeat, tell me, what is it? That's right, do not guess. What's this? That's right again, 5 words or less. Cindy, put that up there. No or yes, do not guess, 5 words or less. What do I mean by 5 words or less? No matter what the question, if it's not a I don't know, or a no or yes question, and you have to answer, 5 words or less. And the best way to accomplish that, how I train my clients and the other attorneys, is take 5 seconds, take a minute, take 20 minutes if you want to answer one question. So, if the attorney Susie asks you, where were you on the night of the 15th? Take 20 minutes to answer that question so that you're trying to answer it so Parker's not mad at you, and you get it down to like 3 words. I'm not sure, all right? Which is, by the way, it's involved in a great movie I love called Idiocracy. But anyway, so it took you 20 minutes to get there. The transcript will say, Susie asked a question, deponent answered the question. It won't say, Jesus, she took 20 minutes to answer that. It just says, the question was answered. So, and I will grant you a rule that doesn't sound like it could be possible. The more time you take to answer a question where you have to go 5 words or less, the less time you will be in that deposition. Let me repeat that. The more time you take to answer that question, the less amount of time you will be in that deposition. How's that possible? Because you've measured and you've pared your answer down to so few words that the attorney has little room to navigate and ask you follow-up questions. Now, they will try, but there's an objection that it fits and can lead to the end of the deposition. Asked and answered. You've heard it on TV shows. Asked and answered, Your Honor. Well, they can't keep asking the same question in different forms. It becomes harassment. So eventually that has to stop. So words are what? What are words to the other side? Right again, they're oxygen. So cut off the oxygen supply. The less oxygen, the less words, the less they can ask you about. So the point being, limit your responses to 5 words or less. So take your time before every answer. Trust me, I've done this. I've had great people listen to me. And frankly, they're supposed to listen to me, if that's the best way to put that. And I am their beacon of help. That's why they hired me. And if they follow my rules, I can get them out of there in an hour. And the attorney was gearing up for hours and being a pest. But at some point, he can't keep asking the same question. So if you answered a no instead of no, but I killed my father just because to prove a point, you're just sunk yourself and you're going to be there for 5 hours. And I've been in those depositions. I don't ever want to be in those. So this is just about as much about me as my client. We both benefit from the lack of anxiety that following the rule of 5 does for you. Let me put up the big rule that I want Cindy to put up now. Shazam. The more time the client takes to answer the question, the less time you will spend in front of an attorney. More time equals less time, question mark? Yes, you cut off the oxygen, you cut off the attorney, all right? Condense it. So let's reiterate the rule of 5 and 5 things to remember, ready? Cindy, we're gonna have you put this up, the bold up. Okay. By the way, I'm required to say, if you want to see the full length of this video and the show notes, which are really good instructions for you, you can hold on and learn how the rule of 5. It'll go to my membership website, collectionstoppersolutions.com. It's all there. Everything you need is there. So, number 1, Shazam, the client must tell the truth. Number 2, Shazam, the rule of 5 keeps emotion out of any response. Keep your cool. Use that gap I require of you. That 5-second, 10-minute, 20-minute gap to answer a question. The attorney cannot make you ask a question sooner. If he or she starts doing that, that's on the record. And I can show the judge when I cut it off. Look what he was doing. The court will totally be on your side. Remember, Shazam, I've done the math. And the goal is to limit your story, limit the oxygen, limit the question. The less my clients, your clients, you say in front of an attorney, the safer your case. Remember, what are words? Hello, what are words to the other side's attorney? What are they? Hello? They are oxygen. Cut the attorney off from oxygen and you shorten the depth with the rule of 5, baby. What is the rule of 5? Let me hear it. Come on. What's the rule of 5? That's right. No or yes. Do not guess. 5 words or less. See? I told you you'd get it. This is about client empowerment. This is about your empowerment. If you follow the rule of 5, do everything through the rule of 5, no matter what happens, no matter what question, at home, practice on your spouse, your friends, your kids, that annoying neighbor that always is looking over the fence at everything you buy and asking questions. Hey, you got a new car? Yes. Normally someone go, oh yeah, I got a great deal. I was down here. It goes 0 to 60 in 20 minutes, blah, blah, blah. Yes. Well, who'd you buy that from? I'm not sure. Wait a minute, you don't know the dealership you went to? Well, it wasn't really a dealership. Wasn't really a dealership is 4 words. Yeah, 5 words. So that's what you do. No or yes, do not guess, 5 words or less. How fast does that thing go when it rains? I don't know. Well, did you test drive it? Yes. There's very little more that this clown who's poking out your neighbor that wants to know all your business can ask you. And neither can the nosy, bad guy attorney. Keep your story to yourself. Help means hurt. You are empowered with the rule of 5. No or yes, do not guess, 5 words or less. Every question should be answered that way, and you will win your deposition. Thank you.